one of the alumni of TLI, Stella, Ritah, Nabukeera, who is here in Uganda, is the one who told me about TLI, and she thought it was really a very good program for me, especially with what I was doing in the church.
I got acquainted about the TLI program from social media. I think, to be exact, I think it was in LinkedIn that I found out about the program. I contacted Christopher and said, hey, I think this is a great program. I just found out you, and I think that it's very interesting what you're doing.
I was doing some volunteer work for the church, just doing some construction drawings for a chapel that they wanted to construct. And that's where I got in touch with Father Montemayor, and then he suggested I sign up for the TLI. I didn't know about it before, and I was a little hesitant if I was even going to be accepted, but he encouraged me. He recommended me to another priest who gave me a recommendation letter, as well as my church deacon, and from there it took off. And then I didn't heard from it before.
A friend to my husband on Facebook, and he kind of asked about what we do. And when he got to know about what we do, he gave us an opportunity to be part of TLI.
Providence that led me to TLI. It was actually the Facebook algorithm. It showed me some advertisements. Facebook showed me an advertisement about TLI. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It's about leadership, which is a thing I'm very interested in. It's about Catholicism, which I am very passionate about. So I think this could be something for me.
I basically had two expectations. One was to really improve on my leadership, especially within the context of the church. I had always been a leader in the church, but without really a major training. And so I really expected to grow in leadership. That was one. And then the second one was really to network with like-minded persons, people who are in leadership within the context of social areas.
I really wanted to get the tools and the know-how and the perspective, I should say, in a broader sense, on how to develop fruitful lay apostolate in public and political life in my country. I'm from Costa Rica. Not living in Costa Rica right now, but I'll be going back to my home country within the next months. And that's my intent, to develop a public and political apostolate in Costa Rica. And I thought of going to the program. I thought that TLI would be the right venue to get the formation to have a fruitful apostolate.
I was actually looking forward to it in terms of providing guidance and leadership. At the time when Father Montemayor told me to apply for TLI, that phase of my life, in terms of family life and professional, I was being pushed increasingly towards position of leadership. You know, whether I liked it or not, I wasn't really actively looking out for it, but I was circumstances at work and at the time meant I had to take more of a leadership role, and I didn't know how to. It was completely new to me, and I had a different idea of what leadership meant. I really thought it was more of a popularity contest, or following the axiom where he who shouts loudest has the floor. So the person that's probably the most boisterous and most popular gets to be the leader. But TLI gave me a different perspective of what a leader is, and not only that, but within the context of a Catholic, a Catholic professional. And how is it I can apply Catholic teaching into my life, both private and professional life? So I was expecting, so my expectation was that it would provide that guidance, and it did, and they went over and beyond that. So I'm still haven't been able to read all the resources or watch all the videos they suggested. So there was such a huge amount of support and resources that is just available to young professionals. So I was quite pleased with what the program offered me.
Well, coming into the program, I knew we would have like practical leadership skills, like maybe being a good leader for society. These are steps that you have to follow and things that you have to do. So that was kind of my expectation. I can say that I still met my expectation, even if it wasn't like practically, these are steps that you have to do, these are things you have to follow, but like the different topics that were tackled were very good in relation to church and society for a leader. So that I'm not like just a Catholic leader, but I'm an all-round leader. So I think either way, my expectations were met.
My expectation was mainly to meet people who were also Catholic and also interested in becoming a leader in their own field of expertise or their field of action or their social circles. And that's what I also got. So I am very grateful for that. And I also got lots of interesting insights into some of America's issues that have to do with leadership and Catholicism. The main thing for me was connecting with people who are like-minded, and I actually got that. So that's my expectation was totally fulfilled.
I had a lot of great and awesome experience. TLI has been really very informative, especially on my life. I was challenged to live my life in Christ as I carry out my daily life to become, the light and witness of Christ, given the current circumstances where people really don't give attention to Christ. I also liked the boldness that the facilitators imparted on us, especially for us to stand out in the social environment to really ensure that Christ is witnessed to. The sessions on personal mission, my personal mission was my great session, really. For me to discover that God, even in this business that I'm doing, God is using me to be able to transform the world. So I was able to firmly accept the mission that God has put in me. At first, I used to doubt it, but during the retreat that TLI did, it really opened my eyes and enabled me to structure my vision. And I also love the session on fundraising, especially my coach was able to help me, overcome. I was a little shy to ask people for money, and I learned that I ask for the sake of the mission, not really for my sake. And so that was really my awesome experience. I love TLI.
It was a very rich experience, I should say. The program is very well planned. There's a lot of fraternity, I should say. There's a lot of respect and care, and people just start caring for each other genuinely, and it's a great community experience, I should say. I like that very much. The program is, I don't know if it's the right word, but it's lengthy, which is good. I say that in a positive sense because it gives you a lot of tools and information and knowledge and training and in general formation that you need right now for your life or that you're eventually going to use. So that's one feature that I would like to highlight as well, that it was a very in-depth program, and I like that very much.
I really enjoyed the discussions that we had, the lively discussions, and it really helped to see how we can apply Catholic teaching in our professional and personal lives. And not only that, but in a modern context. One of the challenges I've had is that I'm a reader, I'm a bookworm, so I have so many books, Catholic books on my bookshelf, but these are like older books. So books from like maybe perhaps the 60s, the 80s. Now, Catholic teaching is timeless. I'm not saying that the church is outdated, it's not. But there was a challenge on how can I apply church teaching to the realities of modern day. The whole, like, for example, like gender identity and what's going on in the world today. The indifference of so many young people. How do you deal with that? When they just reject all the traditional Catholic books. How do you deal with the modern problems that we have? So the TLI program really helped me to apply Catholic principles and teachings to a modern context without diluting the faith at all. There has been no compromise or anything, but it has really showed me how I can apply it in my day-to-day living, and it has led to a renewed effort on my part to learn my faith. I enjoyed, like I said, the discussions that the TLI program had. I saw an entire spectrum of participants from different walks of life, with families, those who are newlyweds, those who are divorced, those who got laid off, those who had a career change, and it was this entire spectrum with different levels of maturity. There were those, I would still consider myself a novice. I think it's only now that I am taking a much more serious look at my Catholic faith. You know, I've met with priests, I've seen deacons, so it gave me in one snapshot at the TLI video conference I would have. I would see the entire spectrum of the Catholic Church, so to speak, or at least a tiny bit of our church, of how it is like, and it's emboldened me to try and learn my faith better. It's been a little bit difficult because, well, you have to really think things through. I thought the TLI program would be it, but actually it has like a renewing effect on my life. So I will not just stop at the TLI program, this certificate, and that's it, I will stop. It's helped me to want to delve deeper into my Catholic faith. So one of the personal commitments I've been doing, I've been buying a couple of books from the Word on Fire, Bishop Robert Barron. So that has really helped a lot because it really provides good guidance on especially modern day living, which has been very challenging. We're seeing and experiencing things that we haven't really experienced in the past. My parents haven't experienced. So it's good that they provide that beacon of guidance for young professionals like myself. So I rated A+, and I would try to encourage those around me, some of my coworkers, to if they can to sign up for the TLI program and to experience it for themselves, what it was like and how it can enrich their professional life and personal life and ultimately their spiritual life as well.
Yeah, my experience was amazing. First, like I have said, it was all around. And then I also like the fact that we had like the breakout sessions online, like to just share the principle or whatever topic for the day with other people in the class. That was amazing. And then the Zoom coffees, because most times if it's an online program, like you don't get that touch, you don't get to build relationships with people. But I felt this was a good opportunity that even if it was online, we would be able to kind of like get to know people even more, get to know about what people do, share into their like work experience, share into their family life, which was really amazing. And the other thing, like I've said, it was all around, like it covered health, education, like personal life, vision of a person. So I must say it was an amazing experience.
It was great. I must admit, I would look forward to it, but at the same time, I would know I would end up being really tired after it. Like I knew it would require some mental effort to stay here, and also it was like in the night, like from I think 7 to 10 or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, I just finished my my day's work, and then I'm gonna start using my mind again. And my work is using my mind all the time because I'm a school teacher. So I'm like, okay, let's exercise a little more. But it was totally worth it. It was totally worth it, and yeah, it was demanding, but at the same time, I enjoyed it very much. So it was balanced.
I gained one, of course, networks. I gained good friends. Now I have friends who I talk to on Telegram, on email, who advise me. They're in the US, they're in the UK, they're in Portugal. So I have friends all over. That's what really I had hoped, and I gained that. And then also my mentor, Dave. Oh, Dave is a great guy. I got him, and so anytime right now, I meet him and I call out to him if I have any issue. He's able to talk to me, and I also got the freedom to carry out fundraising, in many ways, and most times even Chris keeps, saying, it's okay, you can fundraise, it's okay, do this. So there's a lot of advice that I get. And most importantly, I also, got to be able to write down my leadership commitment, which now is like a roadmap to what I do. I also got quality materials for teaching. That is, I actually just yesterday, I was teaching in a nursing school, a government nursing school. I was teaching new leaders about the leadership, their roles and the expectations. And I was able to get most of that material from what I downloaded from TLI. So basically, I have a whole world around me because of TLI.
I really liked it, as I said, and I think that I got a lot of what I was looking for. I found it. I was also energized, I would say, tremendously for the endeavors that I prayerfully think that God has put in my heart. And so I not only it's not only about the information, it's not only about the formation and the training, but it's also about being energized to the mission that you're called upon. And I think that that's also a characteristic of the program, that all this sharing with other Catholics from different venues, different countries, different realities about your initiatives, your projects, your ideas, your dreams. It really helps you refine, fine tune what you're thinking, and also give you, a booster, a real booster. These days we talk a lot about boosters. Well, this is a true booster for your faith and for your public and lay apostolate. And I feel blessed for being able to participate in this great initiative.
Well, I've gained a renewed appreciation for the Catholic faith. I was a little bit stagnant ever since my baptism when I was in university. Just the RCA, the basics, and kind of didn't go much further from there. So I'm wondering, how can I grow? It was a little bit challenging because I'm baptized, the first baptized Catholic in my family. So I didn't know where to go. And it came at a time where I really needed it professionally as well, where I need to assume leadership roles, but also to renew my Catholic faith. So I'm very, very happy for that it has done that for me.
It's now almost a year down the road, a year and a half, I must say, down the road. And TLI is part of my life. I can say one thing, it widened my connections. I was able to get to know other people in their areas of life. One major topic that was talked about was about the call on our lives and the vision. And personally, I feel called because currently we work with teenage mothers with an organization that we started with my husband, Smile Again Families, Uganda. But at around that time, we were in a period of discernment, of saying, okay, are we doing what God is calling us to do? Are we doing our own thing? But like listening to that session and getting people sharing their experiences, like trusting in the Lord for their needs and like for provision in their particular call, like was very encouraging for me and for us, because most times I would share with my husband like what we have learned about in the day. And so down the road, we are still following God's call for our lives and knowing that, okay, if we are lacking in this time, ours is to trust in the Lord and the Lord will be faithful. And then the other thing that I learned was about the board, like how organizations are run and setting up a board. I must say people from my class were very helpful. We had some that signed up to come and help with the organization on the board, which was very, very, very encouraging, and like just listening to their wisdom. I know currently not all of them are on the board, but at this point in time, we have been able to set the board for our organization and it's now complete. Like just knowing these are particular positions that we need on our board, that we shouldn't underlook, because they are very helpful, and we need their advice on the board. We need to see policies set on the board, and these particular groups are very important. And then the other thing was the networking, which I have talked about. It widened our network, and just having people work with us, learning from them, and getting to know their experiences. And the last thing I must say, from our class, I've been able to enroll for a program called John Porto Studies. And the administrator for this program was from our class. So with her help, I and my husband have been able to enroll in this program in St. Thomas University, Houston. And we are fully sponsored for the program, which we know this is a program that is very helpful for our organization and for us as a couple, because I know we talk a lot about our faith, the Catholic faith, the role of JP2 in the Catholic faith, and also in building families, because our call is basically to build strong, reliable families. So it has been a great opportunity, and I know God had a reason why we enrolled in TLI at that time.
I have mainly gained hope and friends. Hope that because I have seen people from all over the world, literally, who share the same dream, which is living our vocation as lay people to the full, allowing Jesus Christ to love us, and then transmitting that love through our professional work and through our social lives. And that gives me a lot of hope, and also friends, because well, if people are following the same ideals and have so much in common, and you come together, you naturally create some strong bonding, and that happened too during the program. So that's what I gained, hope and friends, and obviously a new perspective. Hope and friends means there is hope to do what I want to do. I have people who can do it with me, so let's just move forward together. So that's also something I gained, new strength for my calling as a lay person.